right, everybody, welcome back to the fifth episode of Sage Wrestling Podcast. We want to welcome in Ohio State commit Brock Herman. Man, I appreciate you joining me today, brother. How's things going, man?
Everything's going good. Thank you for actually having me on. I know it's been a little chaotic getting stuff set up. Both been busy, but yep,
Absolutely.
having me.
Yeah, and no problem, man. I appreciate it. And yeah, that's part of it, man. We just as long as we were able to link up. To be honest with you, I first came across you like when I heard you committed to Ohio State. I was like, man, I gotta dig into this Brock Herman kid. So I go, me and my uncle and my cousin. She's actually the one that has started this Sage Wrestling with me, and we sat there and I was like, man, everybody, you got to watch this Brock kid. We got to watch this Brock kid. So like, we go there and like you smoke everybody through the tournament, and they're like, he's going, and like we're all Ohio people, like we're 20 or 2 minutes outside of Columbus, and like they were like, it got everybody's attention the way, especially even whenever you came up against Ty Wilson, two-time state champ. We're
Yeah,
like, how's this gonna go? And we watched you wrestle him at Iron Man too, so it was like, oh, this semis was gonna be it was worth the price of admissions, and you end up coming out as a state champ, man. So congratulations on that too.
thank you. I really appreciate that.
And then honestly, man, I just kind of want to start from the beginning. Like, well, how did you what got your foot in the door with wrestling? How did you get introduced to the sport?
So I was playing at baseball. I was doing taekwondo. I was doing football, and then my dad was like, one day he pulled me early out of taekwondo practice, and he's like, "Let's go to wrestling." He's like, "I want you to try out wrestling." So he took me to wrestling, and I don't know. I fell in love with the sport ever since I was little. It was definitely not fun when I was little. It was crying the first 10 minutes in the practice when I was little. So, but it all paid off. I mean, he's done everything for me. My dad, he's gotten me to the point. Put
Is that
every.
whose headgear you wore at States? Was it? To be honest, I loved it. I loved it, man. I thought it was awesome. Bringing back the old Halos, man. I was like, this is my guy.
Yeah, it's old school.
It is, it is. I even got it in the background there because I was like, man, he's still. I thought it was cool as hell, man. So do you always wear them, or was it just something like, hey, for the state tournament, I'm gonna rock this old school look, bring
Yeah.
back the old
So
Halo?
I saw it on Amazon, and I'm like I gotta buy this thing. I'm like, I gotta do it to be funny, like just have fun with it and just go with it. So I ordered off Amazon, and I think I wore it at my conference tournament and that on the States.
I remember, dude, I'm 35, but that's the headgear I started off with. And then like I remember, and like to be honest with you, like I'm telling my whole family about you, right? So like I'm like, man, I'm telling you this Brock Herman kid, everything I've watched, all these videos I've watched on him, like going to college opens, doing your thing, and I'm like, you gotta see this kid. Like, I mean, even like whenever you ran across with Ersky and stuff, and like you wrestled him tough too, you know what I mean? So I was just like, uh which was confusing about the junior year, but we'll get into that in a minute. I was they were like him like with the headgear, like that's and then like usually like after the first round they're like, all right, bet, all right, we the
Yep.
boy can wear whatever he wants on his head. That shit, he's a monster.
Yeah.
I've never honestly like I just did right before I talked did broke this interview down with you. I talked to Jack Forrest and was talking to him about how some tournaments that he went through, and outside of you and Ty Wilson, like that semifinal match, dude, like that tournament, like that state tournament this past year, you you walked through it like it was easy. You really did. And I'm not saying it was, and that ain't a knock on any of them other boys because, you know, they're at the state tournament. You can't be bad and be at the Ohio State tournament. So,
Yeah, of course.
uh, whenever you dominate your way through that, man, how awesome was that, man? I mean, getting that state championship.
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, I've worked my whole life to get that. Um, Freshman year when we lost COVID, that definitely sucked. Um,
Yeah.
Sophomore year, I got second. So that like killed me inside. I'm like, I gotta get a state title. I gotta get a state title. I gotta get a state title. And then, junior year, that stuff, all that happened.
Confused, yeah, super confused on that. Which, like I said, we're gonna cross a bunch of bridges once we get there. But that one had me a little baffled. But uh, after all that you had went through, man, for you to be able to come out on top like that and end it with, because to be honest, with what happened your junior year and the one having to do the college opens because of whatever the case may be, and switching from your freshman and sophomore year, moving schools, it was kind of like your name, you were kind of under the radar. And to
Yeah.
be honest with you, I still think you are, like with the talent that you have, and they have you sitting where they have you sitting. Like I think it's 53rd or 56th in the country right now, pound for pound. Like,
Yeah.
and I think it's strictly based off of just some of the things that's happened throughout your career, because it's like this man is a top 50. Like, honestly, you remind me of like a Colin Moore, or even like a Brendan, like an under the radar guy that's just going to end up being like, whoa, where did this cat come from? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he's an animal,
Hmm.
which I like.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've always been put off to the side my whole life. So I'm used to it. I like that. That drives
Yeah,
me and better every day.
absolutely. Well, then we'll starting with your freshman year, you're at Lake Catholic High School, and how did it? How did your freshman year go? Because I really couldn't find anything uh like how things went at Lake Catholic, like how your record went, if you went to a state tour, like what all how was the freshman year?
So freshman year was good. I think I can't remember how many losses I had that year. I don't know how many wins. But I know that I did not place at Ironman. I went 1-2 out there. I didn't wrestle in the holiday tournament. I was hurt. And then I did like all like the I won like the Solon Comic Classic, just like the little tournaments in Ohio. And then at districts, um, before states got canceled, I got second at districts. So that was right before state. So I lost to Marlon Yarbrough in the finals 4-2. And I think that would have possibly been another finals rematch at states.
And these ain't no names to slouch on either. So what caused what I guess I shouldn't say what caused be what what made the move from Lake Catholic to Brecksville?
So I'm from Medina, Ohio. So I've grew up in Medina my whole life. So I trained with Ty Mitch since I've been little. And he started coaching there at Lake Catholic. So I'm like, oh, all right. And we looked into Lake Catholic. My family were like, that's a great school for me to go to. And we're like, Ty Mitch is the coach there. He's always been my coach. So we went there. And then there was stuff with freshman year, like Ty not being there anymore. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I really know that I'm at a different level. So then in that summer, I was training everywhere out with everyone. I was hanging out with all the Brexville kids, I was training with the Voinoviches. And then I told my family, I'm like, I love Brexville. Like, I love the community. I love all of it. So I'm like, I want to go there. So we got a place in Brexville and we moved out there and we ended up living there. And that's how I went to Brexville, was because I was training, hanging out with all those guys from Brexville. And yeah.
It worked out good.
Yeah.
So you guys didn't have to, like, do you have any brothers, sisters, or is it just you, or did
Um,
everybody up and move?
Um, yeah, pretty much. My sister's 22, so she's actually at Ohio State. She just graduated this year, so she was at Ohio State at the time. She was living out there, so it was just basically my mom, my dad, and me.
So that made it pretty easy. Like, hey, this is going to be a good move for you, good move for your future, good move for everything, and it fits. And Medina, you can make that commute. So the shoe fit in everywhere. So it ended up working out. And you got like a Jedi Master as coach. I mean, you were set up so good with the coaches there at Brecksville. It's
Yep.
unreal.
Yeah, it's unreal. I mean, they're awesome. Coach Haverhill, Coach Assad, all of them, everyone.
Absolutely. And to be honest with you, like I hope they stick around there for another 10 years so my son can, because I honestly that's if it would stay like that for another 10 years, that's where I'd love my son to be a part of. But a lot of things can change in that time, so I'm kind of just playing it by ear and see where it goes for him to be able to step on a mat and
Yeah,
what's going to be best for him. Make sure he loves it first too, because he's
yeah.
just a little guy right now.
Hmm.
Was there ever a time where you questioned it? Like whenever, like how you said, like at first, like it was tough. Was there ever a time that you wanted to step away and
Um, yeah, freshman year, I was cutting a ton of weight. I mean, I was started freshman year. I was wrestling 106. I was maybe 100, 96 pounds at the most. I hit a growth spurt at in the beginning, like in the beginning, middle of the year. I got up to like 130,
oh shoot,
cutting down to 106. So like I grew like 5 inches, 5, 6 inches, and I was cutting down. And I'm just like,
that's a lot, buddy.
yeah, it was a lot on me. It was a lot on my family. I was just like painful in my mind, but I remember those nights of just running, getting the weight off, how miserable it was. And it just showed that, I don't know, that it hurt me a lot. I definitely wanted to step away at that time. But then I realized I'm like, I put all this in just to waste it for nothing. Like I put all my time and effort to wrestle and then blow it out on something because I'm cutting weight like that. I'm like, no. So there's definitely times in my mind where I'm like, I'm done with this. I'm done with this. But there's also times where I thought like, I gotta keep going. I keep going. I've been in this for this many years. I have so much to gain from it. So
And
yeah,
it seemed to work out, man, because you sticking with it. I mean, if that was your freshman year, like just I mean, then we jump into your sophomore year and it's your first year at Brecksville, and you go there and you take second place, and your only loss is to Dustin Norris, who was a two-time state champ out of LaSalle, and you lose 3-1.
yeah,
So I mean, as a sophomore, and you went 26-4. So from going to having that feeling as a freshman year and cutting down, and Norris is no joke. I mean, I remember watching him, and so I mean, you don't win two state titles and not be something. So and you were right there with him. I mean, I believe he got a takedown in the first, and outside of that, it was, yeah, I mean, and it was his senior year, and you and him, it was he. It's not like he was leaps and bounds like, hey, he beat you 9-3. I mean, you went toe to toe as a sophomore with a two-time state champ.
yeah.
Like,
I
you know what I
lost.
mean?
Yep, I lost to him 3 times that year. So the first time
That's
I lost to him, it was like,
that 3 or 4 losses was to Dustin Norris, huh?
yeah, I lost to him like 7-1 the first time. I'm like, whew. The second time, I faced them at state duels for first match. I lost to him in overtime. So it,
You closing that gap
yeah,
every time,
close.
closing that gap.
Yeah, and then the finals, he beat me again. It's a really great, really, he was really good, really good.
Oh, absolutely. I've tried to. I honestly, I know he went somewhere because I remember when they announced him. But I can't remember what college he ended up going to. For some reason, I wanted to say Purdue, but
It
I
is,
don't know. Was it?
yes, it's Purdue.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And I wasn't 100%, but I remember them announcing it that it was he was going somewhere. So I mean, and Purdue's building itself up a program right now. I mean, with them getting Joey Blaze, and I mean they're putting together something decent down there in Purdue. Uh, But yeah, I think you chose the right place where I know us Ohio guys are very excited, man. We are, especially after really getting to see you live and in person. It was like this kid's the real deal, and I think you put you in a room with Patty Gallagher, Carson Karchla, Sammy Sasso. I mean, these are just kids that even Bryce Hepner. Bryce Hepner, I think, is so under the radar. It's unbelievable. I
Oh,
think he's,
ooh, yeah,
yeah, yeah. I mean, you're talking about a kid that beat Carson in the wrestle offs and then goes and beat Cam Amin at an open. You know what I mean? Like the kid's tough, and man, you get him on top. It's like I don't even know that I'd go underneath of him. But I think it'll help you in a sense of like, hey, like put Bryce on top of you,
yeah,
like every other day or every day or whatever the case may be, however they run practice, and like if you can get out from underneath him, you can get out from underneath anybody. So I just think you got a hell of a group of guys around you and a hell of a room to where you're gonna take Brock Herman, who's already a monster of a wrestler, and just you're just going to keep growing and getting better. And I think with Coach Ryan and Coach Stieber, Coach Jordan, Coach Jaggers, I think you're surrounded with an awesome program, man. I'm excited for you, big man.
yeah. I'm excited. I mean, I leave Sunday, so
That's crazy. That's awesome, man. That's you. Are you ready to get? You already know who you're rooming with yet, or anything like that?
yeah, yeah, I do. I'm with Stefan O'Neill. I'm rooming with him,
Nice.
so it's gonna be good. I'm definitely pumped. It's a new change. Um, uh, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how much where I am now, and I'm gonna look in maybe these next 3 to 5 months and see how much I improve.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's going to be light years. Like I think what's a prime example? I mean, Mendez is a freak of nature, like so I can't really like he's a guy that can jump in as a true freshman and All American and place fifth. Like that's it. You don't see it happen very often, but a, a lot of times, like I mean, well, Patty Gallagher was pound for pound the number one kid coming out of the country. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? He gets a red shirt, and I just it made me as a fan and as an outside looking in, like, man, college really is a whole nother animal. Like, and I actually heard Coach Ryan say it in an interview of saying, if you think that you're ready when you get here, you're going to realize you're not. And it
yeah.
was like, dang, okay, fair enough.
Hmm.
And but I think that you surrounded yourself with the great people. And as for that, so your freshman year, we got that. Your sophomore year, you go 26-4. You barely lose a finals at 3-1, and then honestly, I think your junior year might be my favorite year, but it's also a year that I don't understand how they let you wrestle at Brecksville as a sophomore. And so, if you could just kind of explain that to me and everybody else on like why didn't they let you wrestle that junior year at Brecksville?
All right, so I'm gonna take it back all the way from the beginning. So I grew up in Medina. Medina has been my hometown ever since. We have a house here and stuff. So we went to Lake Catholic. That's how that all started. And then we got a place in Brecksville, and we were living there. So there were some stuff with Brecksville and Lake Catholic. And when I was at state duels, a day before state duels, we got like an email about something about OSHA, your stuff with like moving, you're going to be ineligible. You either want to take the rest of this year off and be done, or take a full year and or take a full year the junior year. And we're like, what is going on? We had no idea what was going on. So we heard that some kid, the Catholic, he got ineligible for the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Um, and he snitched on me and says I wasn't living at Brecksville. I lived in Medina. Stuff like this. There's just my name
So
getting.
they more or less was like I mean, sorry to interrupt you there, buddy. Was it more or less them thinking that like they were trying to recruit you? Is that like what the whole like thing was? Or was just like, hey, he's not on open enrollment type deal, so he can't go there or can't wrestle there?
Yeah, they were like the people who were like, yeah, Brock Herman's going to Brecksville. So they're like, well, if he can go to Brecksville and wrestle his sophomore year, why can't we wrestle at Lake Catholic our senior year?
Wow. So they literally throw you on, and did it even help them by snitching and throwing you under the bus like that?
No, he was out the whole year. So they just do that extra part and to get me done for a year just to throw jabs at me for no reason. For
To
no
be honest with you, it might have made you better in the long run. I know it's a kick in the dick. I mean, because you can't go to your state tournament, you can't go to you can't be with your teammates, you can't. So I get that. But then when you sit there and see what you do, and I know that transfer rule and that these guys causing you, but you literally go and you wrestle with Casey Swiderski, you lose 10-5. That you go to the New Way College Open, and you won the New Way College Open,
Yep.
and so I mean you've done you did a lot of good things. You went to the Storm Open, and that's where you ended up getting Casey. And now, was that in the finals whenever you ran across Casey at the Storm Open?
Yeah. That was a good finals. He's
Oh
really
man, that's awesome. Yeah,
yeah
10-5 is phenomenal. I mean, he beat Mendez by more than that, and that's not a knock on no. I don't want it to sound like I mean, but like, yeah, I mean, it just shows that you can hang with these boys.
yeah. It was like 7-5 with 20 seconds left, and he had a riding time point, so I went for like something at the end.
Yeah, you got to go for it. So that makes sense. I mean, so you're right there with him. It's something to be. I'd be proud as hell of it, man. And Casey's no joke. He's at all,
Yeah,
at all. So what weight are you? What are you walking around at right now?
like 160.
160?
Yeah, I'm 160 right now.
Are you looking at 65, 57, or is it kind of just, hey, wherever they need me to go type deal? Or
I think 49. Um,
really?
yeah, I think
I like that.
yeah, I think I'll be a 49. I think that's
Man,
perfect.
you're going to be a big 49er, dude. You look, honest to God, you look like Nick, like on even with your new, like the haircut with like, dude, you look like Nick Feldman sitting there, like just eased out. So like if you
Yeah,
at 49 and with Sasso coming into his last year, like because honestly, that's what I was like, man, what are they going to do at 49? Because I always thought you at 57 or 65,
yeah,
and that that makes sense. I mean, as long as that cut ain't gonna, but I mean, the way they do it in college, like that 10-pound cut will be pretty gravy. I feel like. But I really like that, man. You got me excited now at 49 because I was like, man, there's a hole at 49, and now there's not a hole at 49. So that's awesome, man. I like that. I like that a lot.
yeah. Whatever Coach Ryan needs, whatever he thinks best for the lineup,
Yeah,
um, it'll all work out, and you'll see the Buckeyes on top. So that's all that matters.
and that's what's awesome, man. Is like actually, I did. Jax is he just finished his freshman year in high school, but
Yeah.
like I ain't even gonna lie, like I was trying to do a little recruiting like on the side. I was like, dude, like when you put yourself in a room and you got people like Brock Herman and Jesse Mendez and Nick Buzakis and all these, I was like, man, like you guys could take out the big dogs. Just an idea, Jack, something to think about, bud. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I do see something special being built there. I mean, when you've got you, Feldman, Mendez, Buzakis, Luke Geog, Seth Shoemate, and on a Ryder Rogotsky coming in with you, I just think Vinny Kilkiri, like it's like, man, that this is going to be special. Like I see 2015 like flashes of 2015 national championship years, and it's exciting.
Of course, this team's coming up. It's going to be scary.
It
I'm
is.
looking
It is.
forward. I'm excited.
And I think with you at 49, man, if you can sit there and get in on shots with Sasso in that room and find a way to finish, and if you can finish on that, man, you will be able to finish on anybody.
Yep. Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, just being able to wrestle with him and taking being able to have that time to wrestle with him and scrap with him, even getting my butt kicked by him, that's gonna gain so much for me to just get better. It's gonna be awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It doesn't do nothing for you to go to a smaller school where you work everybody and I just don't feel like you get better. To be honest with you, Brock, I mean, I to be honest with you, I hope you go and become a four-time national champ. Honestly, that's what I hope. But I hope to honestly, if you go 49, I hope they redshirt you this year, and I hope you get your ass kicked every day in that room.
Yeah.
And only because I want to see you do good things, brother. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then by the end of the year, I hope the tables turn, and now they're like, holy shit, man, Brock is like, I mean, he's whooping up on me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like I, I like that growth shows to where like now you're hanging with them to where they're like, damn, all right, this kid, no joke.
Yeah.
But it also ain't a bad thing if you go in there and hang with them right off the rip too, because
Yeah.
it's
Of
never a
course.
bad thing. Yeah,
It's never a bad thing, but
yeah.
it
So
would be good. It'd be good.
what are you looking forward to the most? Like getting out there and everything. Just is there any certain thing like, hey, I'm ready to get to Ohio State because I'm looking forward to just getting after it, or getting into duels, or just meeting the guys, or just checking out the campus? Like, what are? I mean, I'm sure all of it's exciting, but is there one certain thing that's like, man, I'm ready to get out to Ohio State to check out this, and that, and get after it?
Definitely being with a family out there that that wrestling team, that's a family.
Yeah,
Being able to start something new out there with that's what I'm excited for. That family like bond together. So that's what I'm excited for. I'm really excited to train too out there, see how well I do, see how much I jump. But I'd say the family bond with Coach Ryan, Coach Stieber, Coach Jaggers, Coach Jordan, and all the wrestlers. That's what I'm looking forward to.
absolutely. And I've talked to a lot of the guys I've done have been Ohio State guys. Obviously, I'm a bias. I'm an Ohio guy, so like I've you, um, I, uh, Nathan Tomasello, Nick Bouzakis, uh, and then I did Jax Forrest. But I mean, mostly Ohio State guys, and that is something that they've all spoke very highly of. Whether it's Nick just being there for his redshirt year, to NATO, who was there for 4 or 5 years, and you know what I mean, 5 years, and took home a national championship, took home three and three third place, so a four-time All-American. So the family, the environment, the love that Coach Ryan, from what I hear, is y'all are just he's got a bunch of kids, and he treats all of y'all like his own,
Yep. Yeah, he does.
and that's awesome. That's hard
Yeah.
to find. That's hard to find. I like just whenever you talk to other people, I think that's one of the best things about Ohio State is you have that, man. So I can understand why you're looking forward to that for
Yeah.
sure.
Hmm.
Now, is there a part of your game that you want to work on the most, like top, bottom, neutral? Like, where do you think that because honestly, on your feet, I think you go toe to toe with anybody. I love the work you do on your feet, man. I do. Um, you kind of remind me of Tomasello. Like you both were really good on your feet. Granted, he was 125, 133, a little bit smaller guy, but stocky guys that can just do beautiful high C's. Uh, nice little outside singles, and you guys do good work. And then,
Yeah.
but if you could fix one area, like you would, like, I mean, I really want to focus on this and get better. What would it be?
Definitely bottom. I mean, you watched that Ty Wilson match, right? At the
Yeah.
state semis. It was 3-3, I think, going into the third. I picked down. I got ridden the whole period. Um,
Yep, to
that-
go up to overtime. So
yeah, that's
Ty's
how.
good on top, though. To be fair, Ty is really he's nice on top. So, but I understand. I can respect the fact you want to get better at that.
Yeah, that's what I need to get better at. That's unacceptable. I should have won that match by getting out, but I didn't. It went into overtime, and I just knew I had to fight, and I beat him on my feet. But it's unacceptable. I got ridden out the whole third period.
Even
Um,
at Iron Man, that Iron Man match, I don't remember it quite as much as I do the state match, but I remember him placing fifth, you placing third, and to be honest, I think you I don't know how to say it without, like, I don't want it to come off like, I think you should have won that Iron Man. I do. Like, I think you were the best wrestler there.
Yep.
And I mean that full heartedly. Like I watched the whole tournament, like, and you, outside of that match with Ty, like you go and you beat Voinovich, you go and you like, and then what you had to come back and do was like, holy shit, this dude's like, it actually opened my eyes even more towards you because it was like, man, like you're taking out battered dudes. You know what I mean? Like it took you down to a whole nother level of just wrestling some really good wrestlers, and it even showed like even for the third and fourth place match, it was like like it was easy. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like the potential's unreal, man. You do you really do. Ty's I think he's going to where's he going? Penn?
Yeah. He's from the Penn University. Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys, I mean, is that outside of the state tournament and the Ironman tournament? I mean, is that the only two times you met?
Yeah. That is. That's the only two times we wrestled. Um. Yeah. We. I don't even think we wrestled at practice before. Maybe once or twice. But
So
that was.
you knew him going into like that Ironman match, like you had met with him in a little bit, I guess I should say, knew of him, not so much knew him, but you knew.
Yeah. That Iron Man match was definitely a kick. Um. I knew that was the kid I had to beat at the state tournament, and yeah, I mean, I wrestled a bad match. I don't think I was ready, but it all paid off the whole year when it came down to when it mattered at the state tournament. And I beat him.
And I think honestly, I think it made you because what what it showed was your grind, your grit, because you could have easily took that L and just been like, hey, it is what it is. But you kept coming back and beating good wrestlers, and because I mean it's Iron Man, so everybody you come across is a good wrestler.
Yep.
Uh, and you went and got the next best thing, and I think that that's just a huge kudos to you, a huge it speaks volumes of your character to sit there and say, hey, just because this one didn't go my way, I'm going to go and I'm still going to place in the top three of one of the baddest tournaments in the
Thank you.
country, if not the baddest. So, nah, yeah, you should definitely be proud of it, man,
Thank you.
especially with some of the guys you came across. And now hitting so you the first place that you committed to was NC State.
Yep.
And I mean, and I don't know if you're good with it. If not, I apologize. I just was kind of curious on um what made you say, hey, you know what, maybe Ohio State might be a bigger and better fit for me than NC State.
I love the NC State guys, Coach Pop, Coach Hall, Coach McCall, Coach Jack, all those guys. I love them all. They were great people. Um, but homesick. Um, I thought I need to be closer to home. Um, North Carolina State was far. I didn't know how I was gonna do because say I went out there and I was homesick, and you don't know how good my training would have been out there.
Right.
So I'm like just debating. I'm like I want to be home. I want to be closer to home. So that's what made me kind of change.
Yeah, that's understandable because I'm built the same way. I used to go to wrestling camps, and now I'm talking. This is just camps, let alone an entire year at a completely different school. And I remember going to like West Liberty wrestling camp and being like, after 4 or 5 days, like just, I mean, you're talking to high schooler and being like, man, I want to go home. Like
Yeah,
I'm, and that's how I felt. So I can definitely respect it. And to be honest, I obviously I'm gonna everybody's gonna say that I'm being biased about it, but at the end of the day, like I don't think you made a bad decision for multiple reasons. I think that you're 2 hours from home. You can go home anytime you want, so you don't get that feeling. And on top of it, uh I think you got good coaching either route you went. Like you said, man, it's a hell of a a really good coaching staff down at NC State, and they've built something really awesome.
yeah,
And continue to every year. The Hidleys, I mean, just the Jack brothers. I mean, just they've done some really great things. Um, but what I think you're about to be a part of, and with Coach Ryan and everybody down there, I think you guys are gonna put something on a map that hasn't been done in a long time, and at
Yeah.
least the last 8 to 10 years. And I, I'm glad you made the switch to say the least. As a fan, I'm glad, and honestly, I think that it's gonna put you in an awesome position, man. So, but
Yep.
yeah, I was kind of curious on that. To be honest, I didn't know you committed to NC State at first. When
Yeah.
I was like just kind of looking into you, I was like, oh no, no shit, I didn't know he was going to NC State. So they, whenever they first started doing it, was there? I mean, was you getting calls from a little bit of everybody, or did this junior year kind of hurt you with the recruiting process with having to sit out?
I got calls a lot when that door opened on June 15th. But definitely sitting out that junior year. I think it was blank. I mean, like you said, under the radar. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
think that many coaches knew of me. So yeah, I think that's how it was. I think I was under the radar and they didn't really know me that junior year. I mean, I was
yeah.
like kind of like a ghost. It was just silence. I mean, you're going to college opens. You're like, who's this 16-year-old high schooler beating me?
Knocking off people. Yeah.
And then
Which is crazy. Like the fact that you did what you did. I mean, those are some really good, really good, like amazing. I mean, and even being at Brecksville, I mean, it's the 16th ranked high school in the country. I mean, so you're getting great coaching on top of showing up at these college opens, like you said, at 16 years old and wrestling Casey Swiderski's and holding your own. And
yeah,
that'll put you on the map real quick, my guy.
yep.
Was Ohio State in the running from the very beginning, or was this something like uh after these college opens that came along?
They were in it, I think, a little bit from the beginning, and then I think they were at a college open I was at. I think that's really what opened their eye was the college opens. So I think that's kind of what got them a little bit.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, I think that's it. Yeah,
Well, that's awesome, man. I mean, it definitely worked out for you. And then you guys had four Brecksville because you go 46-1 as your senior year, and I'm taking it your only loss came the tie at Ironman.
yep.
That's crazy. And then you win Wrestler of the Year at the state tournament,
Hmm.
and you're the first person in your school history to ever do, which is crazy because Brecksville's had some monsters come out of it, but
Yeah,
nobody else. That's crazy, brother. I mean, congratulations on that because
thank you.
and you should have though, like because I'm at that tournament and nobody dominated it. Like I would say, like the only two people, it was between you and Joey Blaze. Like
Yeah,
one of these two boys got to get this because whether it's the Purdue boy, the Ohio State boy, they both. But I believe you knocking off a two-time state champ that got like you deserved it, and
yeah,
definitely well deserved, and awesome to be the first one from Brecksville to ever grab that, brother. That's awesome.
thank you.
And then you guys, Brecksville just had you guys had a heck. What place did you guys end up finishing as a team this year? Because
We
you
got
had
se-
four
we
in
got
the final.
yeah, we got second at the state duels. What did we get? What did we get this? We may have got third, fourth state tournament.
You know what? I think I do. You got third. You got third.
Third.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Yep. It was
And then,
Ed's, Perrysburg, us, and then was Wadsworth fourth.
yep.
Yep. Okay.
Man, you remember your shit, buddy. If I didn't write it all down, and then, so tell me about this. Like, I don't know how you feel about flow in the ranking systems, but they got Brock Herman sitting as the 58th guy, pound for pound in the country,
Yeah.
and we're gonna go with under the radar again because I think I'll take I'll take you up against in anybody up above you at your weight, and
Yeah.
I all day long. And I promise you, I'm not just saying it because me and you sitting here talking. Like I truly believe that you can rock any of these kids.
Yeah, I do too.
And yeah, and that's good. And I knew you would. Like, I mean, that's just the mindset that you have just sitting here talking to you, man. You you can tell you have it. But how does it bother you to be at 58?
No, I don't really pay attention to that.
Good. I
That's
like the
uh, that's like all the way. That's gone. That's out of there.
yeah.
That doesn't matter to me. I know how good I am and what it's going to be the best.
Yes, sir. And you could be the 32nd seed going into the NCAA's 33rd in wrestling, happen to do one of them pigtail matches at the end of the day. If you
Yeah.
come in and you show like the bad, it's just a number. But you'd be surprised how many guys, like, I mean, just of the few that I've talked to, like that it'll eat at them. Like they're they're sitting somewhere and it's like, hey, I'm better than that. And I I look at it as I agree. Like I'll tell you right now, there is not 58 better wrestlers in the country right now than you. There's not. I mean, dude, I eat, breathe, and sleep this shit. Like
Yeah.
this is what outside of my job and work and taking care of my family, like this is my hobby. This
Hmm.
is what I do. And I I know that there's not 58. And that's nothing against Flo. Because I think Flo does a phenomenal job. Love what they do. I mean, they changed the game with what they've done. I
Yeah.
just I just think that a lot of things that you have had to go through with the switching of the schools and all of that played a factor in it. But yeah, I was just kind of curious on how you thought about sitting at 58. Because one time I saw you up at 45, then I seen you at 58, then I seen you at 37, and I was like, man, where are they doing? I mean, the man's winning everything that he touches. You don't place third at Ironman, beat a two-time state champ, win a state championship, walk through the state finals, and the boy you wrestled in the state finals too.
Ginter.
Thank you. Believe he's going D1 somewhere.
Yeah, he's going to California. What's it called? Cal? Is it Cal Baptist?
Yep, Cal Baptist.
Yeah.
Yep, and which is honestly, a lot of good wrestlers go out there. So I mean, it's no joke. I mean, he's a heck of a wrestler too. And honestly, I didn't know a lot about him, but there was some guys behind us, and I was Brock Herman this Brock because there wasn't a lot of Buckeyes that I knew of that was there. I know
Yeah.
you and Ethan Burden.
Yep.
Was the only two Ohio Staters, which you both walked away with state titles, and I was like, hell yeah! So those were the two. Like I follow my Buckeyes, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So like I was talking to my uncle, I'm like, yo, here Brock's coming up, and they're like, after you beat Ty, and they're like, hey, who he's got's no joke. Like it's, and I was just like, oh, really? Like let me, and then I what was it like 12 to 3, 12 to 5? I mean, it was just like,
4.
yeah. I looked back and was like, man, this is the just that's the guy you thought was gonna beat my guy. You know what I mean? Like so it ended up working out good. How you feeling about this 3-point takedown roll now, huh? You gonna have what do you think about all that, buddy?
That, that's a good one. I don't know. It's still 2-point reversals, right? One
Yep,
point escapes. I think it's good. I think it won't force a lot of overtimes, and you got to go for something.
I
Uh,
agree, and I like it. My big thing was, all right, your first match, you get in there, you take a kid down 5 times and kick him, take him down 5 times, kick him, and then at the end of the first, you're up 5-10. He's one move away. After you just dominated him, took him down 5 times, he's one move away. And I just feel like that it doesn't show the dominant first period being up 5, like 10-5. You know what I mean?
hmm
So I was a fan of it that way. And then I knew that they were looking at trying to change the riding time rule. They were like to where if all right, hey, you racked up 2 minutes of riding time, but if you don't turn them and get some back points, that riding time means nothing. See, that I disagree with. Like I feel like if you ride somebody and you at the end of the match you got 2 minutes of riding time, but you weren't able to turn him, you should still get that point because at the end of the day, to me, that's like saying, hey, 8 seconds ain't long enough for riding a bull. You also need to get off of it, drop kick it, tie it up, and punch it in the mouth, and then we'll give you your 8 seconds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, is this what they're talking about now?
Yeah, well, that's the only rule that didn't go through. 13
Uh,
of the 14 went through. The riding time rule was proposed to where like you had to turn, but it's the only one of the 14 that didn't go through.
yeah, who proposed that?
I would love to know because it was like it's like you're telling me if this kid rides like it, it's somebody out and he has a minute two of riding time and you are tied 4-4 against the number five kid in the country, and I'm just making up a scenario.
Yeah,
You don't get shit for it because you didn't turn him. So now we're gonna what are we doing? So we're going to overtime, and he just like wrote is that like this dude laid down for the last minute and a half and say he stalled, but like you happen to still ride him out and hold him down for get your riding time. Like I feel like they were trying to take away people's top game. It was like if you're not, it's Dylan D'Amelio's a good version of it. I watched him grow and grow over this past year. His top game became phenomenal. Like he wasn't turning people, but he was able to get his riding time, and
yeah,
he was phenomenal with it. He stick with it, and whether they ended up out of bounds or whatever, but his riding game became phenomenal. And I love watching Dylan Russell because he could be down 6-2 with 30 seconds to go, and he dead sprints back to the center of the mat. And
yeah,
one of my favorite kids to watch. But like, I guess my point was just how can you take that man just worked his ass off to get that minute of riding time, and just because he didn't make a turn, you I'm glad it didn't pass. I'm glad it didn't
yeah. I mean, you're putting all your strength, all your energy to hold someone down for a minute,
Yeah,
and then the period's over. You don't get nothing for it. I mean, I think
exactly.
they should have writing time in high school.
Me too. Me too. I wish I'm actually shocked that they haven't adopted it. You know what I mean? I really figured that they would have adopted it by now.
Yeah,
Like I'm kind of confused on why they haven't. Uh,
yeah,
because at the end of the day, I don't know about even a 3 point takedown. I'd be okay if they adopted it. Like, go ahead and adopt that 3 point takedown too. Well, or let's see how it does for a year. But at the end of the day, I do like the riding time point, and I hope high school does end up picking it up and seeing where it goes.
yeah,
And I think it's good for all you guys. You remember this right here? This little, you see this video behind me?
yeah.
I
That
uh I
uh,
was I was just watching it. That was gosh, you had just won.
college.
Uh yep, yep. And that's when I found out about Casey Swiderski. I was watching that video and I was like, I never knew he wrestled Swiderski. So then I had to go dig in the archives to find it. And I was like, damn, this kid can go with Casey Swiderski all day long.
Yeah, yeah. I beat someone. I beat Aiden Davis in the finals at Bristol. He was nationally ranked.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was a good win out there.
You've done a lot of good things, big man. You really have. You've done I mean, just strictly from your freshman year, just the things you've been through, what they put you through your. I mean, to be honest, the way that I view it is, all right. So your freshman year, at Lake Catholic, you do your thing. You move up. Your sophomore year, you take second. You lose by 2 points in the finals, and then your junior year. To be fair, you probably are a three-time state finalist. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yep.
uh, if not a two-time state champ. And it sucks they took that away from you, but at the same time, is them college opens. What would meant more? Some of these college opens and the Casey Swiderski matches and that, or having that second state title. Do you feel like you got took it like they took that from you?
Um. Well, that's a tough question because you don't. I was good sophomore year. Get that, but you don't like. Nobody knows. Like I don't even know. Would I have gotten better if I wrestled the high school year? Like, nobody knows that. But with the
Right.
college spins, we know I got way better doing that. Way better.
100%. Yeah. You're wrestling guys at a complete another level that, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that is that's that I guess that would be a hard way of looking at it. It's like, does that state title mean something, or does my growth of wrestling, like whenever I grow back and I can say, hey, I'm a little bit more prepared for college, not a little, probably a lot more prepared for college than what I would have been if, say, I would have just wrestled my regular high school season at Brecksville and got my state title. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's and I didn't look at it like that for you. I honestly looked at it as, man, he got some good experience, but he should be a two-time state champ, three-time state finalist. And
Yeah.
uh, and your dad, I mean, I've heard that he was a dog in his days too. Did he go college? Did he do Was
Uh,
he state champ, anything like that? Because I heard actually it was on Flow that they were saying, actually they were talking about your headgear in the finals, and they said I rewatched it and they were like, man, maybe that's his dad's headgear. Whenever ever because his dad was a damn good wrestler, and I was like, I have to ask him about it.
so actually, he only wrestled 1 year in high
Really?
in high school. So he played football. He was a Marine. He did all that stuff. Um, he only wrestled 1 year in high school.
Well, I'll tell you what, they either he left a hell of an impression, or the boys from Flow must know him.
Yeah.
Because if you go back and watch your match on Flow, whenever, because you know how it messed up a couple times during the
Yeah.
finals, like they were like, he must have busted out his dad's headgear,
That was
and so
that that was funny because our girl Anna, who wrestled there out there for Brexel,
yeah,
she got done wrestling her match and my headgear kept breaking. We're like, you may have to throw her headgear on because if you can't get this headgear fixed, so Coach Havrill had her headgear ready to go. So
that's crazy. So if it would have broke again, you was throwing hers on.
yeah,
So how's Haverdale? Who, my gosh, man, such an amazing coach.
yeah,
How did he feel about, like, did you sit down and talk to him about the NC State, Ohio State, or does he kind of let you guys just, hey, whatever, whatever you guys want to do, if you want to talk, we'll talk, but outside of that, does he kind of stay away from wherever you decide you wanted to go?
he was always in it. He was always a talk. He's like family. He's like family to our family. That's how close we are with them. So he was definitely in it the whole time. He knew everything. Like he would help me out a lot with it. So he was definitely the guy to go to talk about it all.
Awesome, man. That's definitely, yeah, and he really has put out some amazing wrestlers, and
Yep.
even the interviews I've seen with him, he seems like a, yeah, I would definitely be okay if my son would be able to wrestle for somebody like that. So
Yeah.
I can definitely understand why you guys ended up heading to Brecksville.
Hmm.
Absolutely. But man, yeah, I appreciate you finally being able to sit down and get with me finally, brother. I do appreciate you taking the time and taking this little hour with me and doing it. Took us a couple tries, but we finally got her done, man, and it's
Yep.
been worth the wait for sure, Brock.
Yeah.
Uh, and make sure you keep me posted on how things go in Columbus, and good luck with your first year down there, because you said you're heading down Sunday, right?
Yep. Sunday.
Sunday, man. And then the grind's on.
Yeah. Yep. Um. Yeah. Thank you for having me. I mean, I really appreciate it. I'm happy to talk with you. If you want to do any more podcasts, interviews, anything like that, even when I'm down at Ohio State, I'll be more than welcome to do it.
Man, I appreciate that more than you know, buddy. Because
Yep.
yeah, I'm hoping, and I usually say it at the end of all of them, man. I hope at the end of it, especially to my Buckeye guys, uh, in 2 years from now, man, I hope I'm on a whole different platform doing way bigger things, and I hope you guys are all standing on top of the podium at the Big Tens or the NCAA's, and we can all link back up
Yep.
and see how far we've came, man.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really
Ah,
pumped.
me too. Me too. I'm excited for you, bro. I think you got a hell of a future ahead of you, man. Just keep grinding, keep doing what you're doing, and it, we're we're going to see you do some great things.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Well, you take care of yourself, big man, and I will. I'll definitely keep in touch, man, and we'll link back up. We'll do another one of these and see where we're at here in the future. And be safe heading down to Columbus, man. And I'll reach out and we'll link back up. Buddy, all right.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Take care of yourself.
You too. Have a good one.
All right, bro. You too.